as part of We the People, celebrating 250 years. Here's this day in history.
As we count down to America's 250th birthday this summer, we're sharing our We the People series, the people, the places, and the things, and that's including this day in history.
March 21st, 1918, on this day, Wisconsin Governor Patrick Joseph Lucey was born in La Crosse. So he attended St. Thomas College in St. Paul and also UW-Madison, where he received his Bachelor of the Arts degree. After serving in the Army during World War II, he became the executive director and state chairman of the Wisconsin Democratic Party. In 1948, he was elected to the state assembly, and later in 1964, he was elected lieutenant governor, where he served as governor of Wisconsin from 1970 until he resigned in 1977 to serve as the United States ambassador to Mexico. So that is this day in history for March 21st. We had a little bit, there's a lot of history in terms of politics here in Wisconsin. We had a little bit of that for this day in history yesterday and that today. So
always good to learn something new, right, Delaney? All right, 3 Madison.